FFA, you know? All right. Let's get back into session here, but we have a speaker. Laura Lawson will be speaking this afternoon. And come on up. Rutgers School of Environmental and Biological Science, and she's going to give us an update.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Oh, nope, don't give it away. Thank you all very much, and it's wonderful to be here. Greetings from Rutgers. Thank you, Secretary Fisher. Thank you, Board of Managers. Thank you for all of the work that's happening that I'm watching today. It's an honor to be here at the convention. It's also an opportunity to thank the Farm Bureau, the County and State Board of Ags, and everyone else that's supporting NJES. And it's pretty exciting to see how many references there are to the experiment station I'm hearing in the resolutions today. So with that, let me get a little coordinated here. All right. So I'm up here on the podium, but I'm not alone. I want to represent our whole team, and we do have an amazing team at the experiment station of our leadership, our agents, our educators, our staff, our students, our volunteers, who all bring their own experience and their expertise to the work that we do. And I especially want to give a shout out to the leadership team that makes up the experiment station, who you see here, and some of these people you already know. Peg Brennan, our Director of Resource and Economic Development, is really spearheading what I'm going to be talking about with the Vision 2025, and is working to improve how we run our farm field stations, greenhouses, innovation centers, and much more. And of course, Brian is a familiar face to everyone here. Brian brings his background in agricultural economics, his experience in extension, and his collaborative nature to all of our work that we do, and is really a amazing future force in our work. And then Wendy Kohick is our Dean of Research and Graduate Studies. She's the Director of Research for the Experiment Station. And it's a relatively new role that is combining the strengths in the School of Environmental and Biological Sciences, as well as the Experiment Station. And when you bring those two powerhouses together, it can be quite an amazing feat. And so she's overseeing all of our kind of research portfolio. Now, when I was listening to the resolution earlier, it gave it all away. Everything I was going to speak about, I'm like, oh well, I don't need to get up here today, but I'm going to do it anyway in case anyone needs a refresher course. And one of the things that we're really proud of and doing a lot of work on is what we're calling the Vision 2025 initiative. And that is really rebuilding our capacity at our farms, field stations, business incubators, and various programs so that we can better serve you. And we're doing this and we're investing now so that we can be really positioned to help into the future and positioning our experiment station to be a strength 30, 50 years from now. And how are we doing this? So it has a good name, but how are we doing this? I mean, and really what we're doing is we're using some resources that we have available to the experiment station, supplemental funding, our royalty income, our endowments, and investing that back into our farms, field stations, research centers, business incubators, in a very tangible ways I'll talk about, as well as through upgrading our equipment, staff and training, better procedures, IT, and other things that make us more efficient and meaningful in the work that we're doing. We've already started. The projects, we started with the Aquaculture Innovation Center. I almost said AIC, and then I realized I was using an acronym, and academics are very bad at that. So we started with the Aquaculture Innovation Center and Hort Farm 3. Hort Farm 3 will be finished this year. And then we're moving on. We're currently involved in plans at Cream Ridge, and we'll be starting that in 2023. And then moving on to Rarick and Marucci with the goal of finishing all of our improvements by 2025. We're being very methodical with this so that we have outcomes, and it's not just talking about 2025, but at this presentation next year, I'll be able to show you the things that we have achieved in this time period. This investment is important for practical reasons, such as adding things such as deer fencing, smart farm technology, developing better soil management plans, and other improvements that you see here on the slide list. But it's also important for morale, and it's important to express our real commitment to the amazing work of our faculty, staff, and students at these sites. All of these major investments we've made and will continue to make through the continued funding and state support, thanks to the advocacy efforts of the NJAES Board of Managers and the Farm Bureau, as well as others. So the Vision 2025 program areas, as was mentioned in the resolution, are kind of in 3 buckets, but these buckets are very interconnected. In terms of climate resilience and adaptation, these are real concerns for New Jersey, and we intend to assist in identifying climate risks for communities and resource-based industries, while also identifying, demonstrating, evaluating climate management practices, resiliency, preparedness responses, and clean energy technologies. The Vision 2025 investment also enables us to prepare for the future needs of agriculture and food, such as new crop development, wildlife management, supporting new farmers through incubation programs and other factors. And then lastly, community health and wellness, really building on our strengths in public health, youth development, and STEM education, expanding program delivery in urban and suburban communities with greater attention to diversity, equity and inclusion, nutrition, and public health. And I think after the last 2 years, we all realize how important that work really is. I wanted to mention a couple of programs in particular. I know you've already spoken about them a little bit here. One is the Agro Voltaics program, which is recently established through targeted funding from the state. This program is designed to help meet the state's energy master plan goal of 100% renewable energy by the year 2050. This work engages faculty and staff from NJAES, the School of Environmental and Biological Sciences, the School of Engineering, and other university offices in a science-based evaluation of agrovoltaic dual-use systems. The plan is to set up mock systems to collect preliminary data on energy, economics, and agricultural production. The resulting research will inform BPU and DOA rollouts of the dual-use pilot program. And right now, we are currently out with bids for construction at 4 of our NJAES farms with work to be completed in 2022. And a few of the folks involved are here today. So Kevin Sullivan, for example, I think I saw Dave Specca earlier. Dan Ward is here, but I think he's talking right now in another room, and others. So if you have more questions, we have many people here that are actively engaged in it. Another program I want to just mention is our Soil Health Initiative. This is an effort to promote soil health research, education, and outreach that will lead to the restoration of our state's soil resources and development of a sustainable system to protect them for future generations. This program includes grants, so we've recently awarded 3 grants for seed funding for soil health projects. We've purchased new soil testing probes for all of our county offices. Stephanie Murphy, who many of you know as our soil guru, she is leading an effort to organize a soil health symposium that's planned for fall 2022. And we are developing an NRCS soil conservation plan for Cream Ridge right now. So those are some of the activities that we're doing in our soil health initiative. And then lastly, our Rutgers Hemp initiative. This was established in 2020 with supplemental funding that we received and has enabled us to test hemp varieties for yield, TCH, and CBD, to set up a number of production systems, to monitor insect and diseases, and to conduct some economic analyses as well as chemical analyses. And some of the outcomes that we're really proud of in terms of education, we've developed and run 1 3-credit undergraduate course in hemp and medicinal cannabis, and I think I just approved yesterday a 2nd course that we will be offering around issues of hemp. We've had 13 educational programs that have involved over 850 participants, and we've responded to over 1,500 grower inquiries. We've also developed a series of fact sheets and guides, such as the New Jersey Hemp Production Guide and the Guide to Hemp Diseases and Insects, which is in process, as well as developed some web-based resources. And then lastly, we've created some scholarships. We have created scholarship. 6 research presentations and 4 studies have been completed, as well as some journal articles. And we have graduated our first master's student degree in hemp, and the second will graduate in summer 2022. So in just 2 years, our hemp initiative has really encouraging progress. Now, another issue that I've heard a lot about is concerns about retirements and replacing ag agents. We currently have a number of searches underway. All of our hiring goes all the way up to the chancellor's office, and she is very supportive of the work that we are doing. Over half of the searches that we're doing between the school and experiment station are the experiment station. And so we are actively working on multiple searches right now, and we'll continue to work with the Board of Managers to identify areas of need and make the case for those hires. So with that, I just want to thank again our Board of Managers and gratefully recognize the industry for our support and advocacy that has resulted in the state funding that we have received. It's with your engagement and support that we look forward to a positive 2023 budget, and so that we can continue the work that we do. And so with that, I will conclude. Thank you very much. You want me to have questions? And if you have any questions, I will do my best.
That's great.
That either means you weren't listening or I always get worried in my classes when nobody asks a question. I'm like, uh-oh. Anyway, I'm here, so if anyone has any questions, you also can find me in the back. So thank you very much.
Oh, we do? Oh, there.
National Agriculture in the Classroom, nationwide program for pre-K through 12th grade. Is Rutgers have an affiliation with the New Jersey point of contact for that, where we're trying to encourage students, particularly in high school, to get into agriculture as a career field? We're trying to, as part of agriculture in the classroom from the very early age on, there is a link to all of the STEM classes. All the standards that are required in education are folded into the curriculum that's available for teachers K through 12 to utilize in their classroom. How is Rutgers involved in that, or are they involved in that program here in New Jersey to make that stronger, so we have an opportunity to influence children from a young age right on through to go to Rutgers into the career field of agriculture?
Well, thank you for that. And actually, the Ag in the Classroom group is a group that I used to work with in California, and do amazing. They create amazing publications and things that teachers can put right into their classroom. So I completely agree that that's a great resource. We are working hard to develop a much closer relationship with the Graduate School of Education, where we can kind of expand our reach. Right now, we have some strengths in that areas, but we could create more if we look at overall how Rutgers is involved. So I will look into that and continue my conversations with the dean at the Graduate School of Education and see how much more we can build there. We are doing a lot with our Ag Ed program, and we are developing kind of a much stronger pathway for students that are interested in going into agricultural education. We still have some work to do on it, and so I value and would appreciate any feedback that I get from anyone so that we can do that right. So thank you. Anything else? Nope, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, let's open up the voting session. Chairman Bill Cutts.
So the good news is that we're starting 15 minutes ahead of time because we moved up. The bad news is we have a lot to do. So let's see how we can get through this. So what we're going to start off with is that livestock resolution that we deferred on this morning, that we have split into three separate resolutions. We're going to deal with those three resolutions separately. And the first one, these are the ones that you found on your desk and hopefully have had a chance to look at. Now, I will warn you that when you start shuffling stuff around late at night, it gets a little messy, and so we may have some cleanup work to do on this, but we'll work through it. So the first one we're going to deal with is now titled Resolution Number 45, Animal Waste. And the first messiness is, if you look at line 19, you'll see that it's be it further resolved, but this is the first resolve, so we don't have all that introductory language in there. So I'm just going to read that in. We're going to pretend it's in there, and then we'll go from there. So beginning at line 19, now therefore be it resolved that we, the delegates to the 107th State Agricultural Convention gathered in Atlantic City, New Jersey on February 9 and 10, 2022, do hereby strongly urge livestock operators to file animal waste management plans with the department in order to comply with the state regulations regarding the need for such plans. And we further direct the department to continue to recognize animal waste as a resource and continue to explore alternative uses of animal waste within biogas production that could help meet the state energy master plan goals, allow for the productive reuse of manure, reduce hauling costs, and benefit the environment. Be it further resolved that we direct the department to continue to work in conjunction with conservation partners to implement demonstration projects, such as the one that installed best management practices at the Equine Science Center, to provide hands-on training and research facilities to educate livestock owners on the design and construction of cost-effective environmental management practices and facilities, to identify opportunities for implementation incentives for facilities to minimize water quality impacts, such as the state cost share program and the Farm Bill, and provide an opportunity for evaluation of the effectiveness of such practices. Do I have a motion to adopt? I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
I'd like to add something in the whereas, not the whereas, in the be it therefore resolved that you added. And it would come in.
But Pat, we can't hear you. Can somebody move that, set that mic, adjust that microphone down a little for Pat? One of you guys there? I think there's a, yep.
So much. Okay, we're good. Thank you.
I think Alan Carter set that microphone up. Yeah.
He's a lot taller than everybody else, right? Okay, we want to make an insertion, and we want to, there is a therefore be it resolved that we strongly urge livestock operators to file animal waste management plans,
Where do you want to insert this, Pat?
It's because it's the old one, so it's not going to match up. 192 in the one in the book.
No, I'm talking about in the new one. You just want to add it as
It's
an,
line
as an,
21 here. Okay. I didn't
Okay.
have the new one.
okay.
All right, so in that, when you get to the word plan, okay. We strongly urge, we found it? Livestock operators to file animal waste management plans, and I gotta go to this page. 8 to 299 animal units with the county agriculture and natural resource agent, and 300 plus animal units with the department, because there's two different places that you file those depending on the size of your operation. And I don't want to have any wrong information in there. That's it for this one. Thank you. Okay, 8 to 299 animal units with the county agriculture and natural resource agent, and 300 plus animal units with the department.
Hang on, Pat. Jeff's got to keep up with you.
All right, you're almost there. Plus with, and then it follows. Okay, so now we're all good. Plus animal units with the. So after 300 plus animal units, right there, goes added, and that's everything. Animal units. And take the second plus out with the department in order to comply. The rest works.
Okay, for those of you in the back that might not be able to read the screen, that first whereas would now read, we're beginning at line 19. Therefore be it resolved, blah, blah, blah. We hereby urge livestock operators to file animal waste management plans, 8 with 299 animal units, 8 to 299 animal units with the county ag and natural resources agents, and 300 plus animal units with the department. And then it continues on as shown in what you have on your desk. So that's the proposed amendment. Do we have a second for that? We need a second before we can say we have a motion and a second discussion.
Just a question, Pat, and I don't remember, but I thought that it was 8 to, I thought the lower numbers were self-certification, not had to be certified with a county agent.
The one that you don't have to file anything is up to 7.
Okay,
And then the one for the county agent is, we looked it up.
okay,
It's
okay.
8 to 299. I wasn't sure if it was 299 or 150, but it's 299.
Okay, thanks. Any further discussion on the proposed amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. The amendment is adopted. Do we have any further discussion on the resolution as a whole? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. The resolution is adopted as amended. We'll now move to what is now titled Resolution Number 44, Humane Standards. And I will begin reading at line 56. Now therefore, be it resolved that we, the delegates to the 107th State Agricultural Convention, gathered in Atlantic City, New Jersey on February 9 and 10, 2022, do hereby urge the legislature and the governor to provide additional and appropriate funding levels to the department to allow the DAH to continue providing expert advice and training to those tasked with humane law enforcement and livestock owners regarding the humane standards in cases where abuse and/or neglect are alleged, but which also require knowledge of animal husbandry, best management practices, animal diseases, diagnostic testing, and the practice of proper biosecurity measures. Be it further resolved that we require the New Jersey humane enforcement community to follow the humane standards and work with the DAH when assessing livestock so that better and more consistent decisions concerning law enforcement are made, ensuring that appropriate animal husbandry, biosecurity, and health documentation are followed as part of every humane investigation. Be it further resolved that we urge the New Jersey State Attorney General to require all law enforcement personnel authorized to respond to animal cruelty complaints comply with the rules set forth in the humane standards upheld by the Supreme Court, including reporting cases involving livestock to the Division of Animal Health and following proper biosecurity measures. Be it further resolved that we recognize the interest and concern within the state and country about livestock handling and welfare, and therefore support the services provided by the Division of Animal Health in order to maintain pace with requests for field investigations of alleged violations, and that we recognize the limitations currently faced by the DAH in order to conduct field inspections that ensure compliance with the standards. Be it further resolved that we urge humane law enforcement personnel to avail themselves of regular training regarding the humane standards, which the Division of Animal Health has made a commitment to provide in an effort to have humane animal enforcement more accurately and consistently reflect the provisions of the standards. Be it further resolved that law enforcement officials must understand they must immediately notify the Department of Agriculture's Division of Animal Health for all cases involving livestock at the time a humane treatment complaint is filed and before any investigation begins. Be it further resolved that the legislature and the governor defer to the existing NJDA humane standards, NJAC 2:8, when and if any proposed legislation is presented that could be in conflict with said rule. Do I have a motion to adopt this resolution? A motion? Do we have a second? We have a second. Any discussion?
Brittany Smith, Garden State Sheep Breeders. The first thing we'd like to do is change the title of the resolution to Humane Standards and Animal Health.
Okay. We should probably do a motion on that. So we have a motion. Do I have a second to that motion? Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. The amendment to the title is adopted.
Okay, and then we have some wording to insert because when the split was done, some things got mixed up. So at line 55, so starting a new whereas at 56.
Okay. You got to read it slowly enough that
Yep.
Jeff can.
He also, if he pulls out the, what is it, number 16, it's all written in there as well.
Yeah, he might not be able to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you make an omelet, you have to break some eggs.
Yep.
You know.
All right, so we're adding a whereas. Animal agriculture increasingly finds itself misunderstood by a public largely removed from livestock agriculture, and there exists activism of those who either oppose animal agriculture altogether or object to certain science-based practices, science-based practices. And then we'll insert another whereas. Do you want to do these separately, or do you want me to keep going?
Let's do this one real quickly. I don't, just so we don't complicate matters. So the proposed language you just heard read in, you can read it on the screen. I won't read it again. So we have that proposed as an amendment. Do we have a second? Have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the proposed amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. The amendment is adopted. Okay, it's just cleaner to do them separately. Yep.
So whereas there is a need for food animal veterinarians in New Jersey shown through surveys done by the NJAES Board of Managers Livestock Committee, period. There is a need for more of these vets to serve operations in New Jersey to improve animal care. And then we have another whereas. You want to do this one separately again?
Yep, let's just put it in and then we don't get confused. So you heard the language read in. It's on the screen, shown between lines 59 and 61 inclusive. So this language has been moved. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. The amendment is adopted.
One more whereas. The Rowan University School of Veterinary Medicine, the first such program in New Jersey, and the 34th veterinary school in the nation will open in New Jersey with the first class being accepted in 2025.
Okay, so a third one, as read in and as shown on the screen, line 62 through 64 inclusive. This motion is, this language has been moved. Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say no. The amendment is adopted. So,
And then we have be it further resolves to add at the end. We encourage the opening of a school of veterinary medicine in the state of New Jersey to help with the need for food animal vets in the state.
okay. The language just read and seen on the screen in lines 107 through 109 inclusive has been moved. Do I have a second? Have a second? Any discussion on the proposed amendment?
I'd like to include equine with food animals, as there's a shortage of equine as well.
Okay, does the mover, are you okay with including equine?
We are not, because if you actually look in the equine bill or the equine resolution that's in your book, this is included specifically for equine as well.
I did not see that you're talking about in the resolutions?
Yes, so the equine resolution does include a part about encouraging more equine vets in the state, but we are doing this specifically for food animal, our ruminants, our swines, because that is where we are seeing the lack of vets. We have a lot of vets around the state that are specifically equine and are finding a shortage in our food production animals, finding vets that are willing to come out to farms and take care of these animals.
You know, it's my opinion from the NJVMA that those shouldn't be separated, that there's a shortage of large animal vets in the state completely, and that many vets that do equine also do food animal. So to encourage veterinarians to come to this state, I think we have to encourage them to come for all of the large animals, not necessarily specifically pick one over the other.
We're not picking one over the other. Like I did point out, we do have a clause in the equine resolution referring to this. And the reason that this is being put in specifically for food animal and our large livestock side of things is because that is what the Board of Managers Livestock Committee found a need for throughout the state doing their need assessment surveys.
Okay, so
Tracy Smith, Warren County. So I just want to validate what Brittany is saying. The Board of Managers did do a needs assessment on the needs for veterinary in the state of New Jersey. And it did show that the huge shortage is in the food animal vets. We only have a few in this state. The equine vets far supersede that of the food animal. So that's why it's specifically being addressed here for that.
did you?
I don't disagree with this study, but I'd just like to point out to the convention that 80% of the equine work currently being done in this state is done by veterinarians who will be retiring in the next 5 to 10 years. And the first graduating class from Rowan will be in 9 years. So that is a situation that needs to be addressed today rather than be behind the 8 ball 9 years from now.
Are you saying that Rowan is only going to do food production? No. So I know that I've been in conversations with Rowan as they've been developing, and our department as they're developing the veterinary school, which we're so excited about at Rowan. Be the first in our state in forever. So my question to both of you is, who are proposing the resolutions, why can't you have two resolutions that say the same thing for the purposes of the particular class of animals that you're speaking of? Meaning, if I'm sitting in Trenton and I'm sitting in the legislature, and I see that I get all this interest from the food science, the food animals, and then I see another bill saying the same thing in different, either the same or different words, but coming to the same point, that in equine interests equally have this amazing depth of interest in this. It seems to me, I'm just saying to you as a former legislator, I get two groups and two bills and two resolutions saying to me, this is really important. So the fact that it's in one resolution together, I don't know that it's absolutely some, I don't understand quite the necessity. I understand the desire. Just telling you as where I've sat over the years.
So Doug, if I could address that, the equine resolution is in the consent calendar, and it has on page 99, lines 50 to 53, reference to the need for vets. So that's where it's in the consent calendar. That's why we haven't seen it.
And I concur with Mitch. It's important, I think, here to know that the shortage of livestock veterinarians for food production has been and is right now not available. And I think it's very important to note that Dr. feels that in the future, there's going to be a shortage in equine. So I think treating them separately, because they are somewhat different, is the right way to go, as the secretary has suggested. We leave it in both and address it that way, since they are two different resolutions for each of the type of animals.
Okay, any further discussion on the proposed amendment? Just to remind you, the proposed amendment is seen at lines 107 through 109, inclusive. Be it further resolved that we encourage the opening of the School of Veterinary Medicine in the state of New Jersey to help with the need for food animal vets in the state.
I just want to point out that, to my knowledge, the need for food grade animal vets is important, because the treatment of the animal that's about to be consumed, it has to be different from the treatment of an animal that is going to be sitting in the field and just living out their life. Like, there's different antibiotics that need to be given in order to not transfer it over to the human, from what I understand.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the proposed amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say no. The amendment is adopted. So back to the full resolution. Any further discussion on the full resolution?
One more. We support legislation for food animal veterinary medicine redemption programs, as well as a matching grant program provided through legislation for food animal vet students who practice livestock medicine in the state for a minimum 5 years after graduation.
Okay, so you've heard the proposed amendment, which has just been read and appears on the screen between lines 110 and 113 inclusive. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Do I have discussion on the proposed amendment?
I just wanted to add to this, the reason we are putting this in here is because there are similar programs for equine veterinary students within the state. So this is one way we are trying to mimic those programs that there are to encourage more large animal livestock type vets into our state.
Thank you.
Hi, Diane Byer, Gloucester County. I'm wondering if we could table this perhaps so we can get some clarification for terminology and further discussion?
We're
Or is that-
we're pretty close on time.
There is a mistype in it though. Reduction is supposed to be redemption on line 11.
All right, so let's do it. Do you want to move the table? I mean, that's, okay, we can, the delegates can decide whether or not they want to table or move on. So we have a motion to table. Do I have a second? I have a second. There is no discussion on a motion to table, so all those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say no. The motion fails. Discussion will continue.
Still on the amendment? Can I do a new amendment? Or a
I'm
motion?
sorry?
Are we on?
I can't hear, a little closer to the mic.
Did we vote on all of Brittany's things?
Yes,
before
I
start?
think we're done. You're finished, Brittany, right? Oh, yes. Yes, we're still on discussion on the amendment. So, any further discussion on on this last amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor, oh, I'm sorry.
So there's a little confusion about veterinary medicine. A few people brought it up to me. I know Dr. Byers on the committee. A veterinarian doesn't go to school and say, I'm going to be a food animal vet, and I'm going to work in New Jersey, and therefore I'm going to get loans and they're going to be forgiven. Or a veterinarian doesn't come out of school and say, I'm going to work on food animals, but I'm not going to touch small animals or equine or anything else. Veterinarians come out of school with a license. That license is to practice veterinary medicine. They go to school with some idea of what they want to do, but the reality is 90% of veterinarians that go to college come out and become a different type of practitioner than they intended to initially. Some go into surgery, some go to university, some go to pharmaceutical companies. So to ask the legislation to pass rules that determine who gets money, who's going to get loan reduction, and to encourage one type of veterinarian to apply to school, because you can't legislate what they're going to do when they graduate, I think is foolhardy and short-sighted. So it's my opinion to take a more broad view of this and try to encourage veterinarians that live in New Jersey that have animal backgrounds, or I should say food animal background, encourage them to go to vet school rather than to ask for legislation to promote food animal veterinary medicine, because it's not going to happen. It's great to encourage a food animal veterinarian to come to a state where you have a huge food animal population in a geographically convenient location so that they can make a living. But the reality is in New Jersey is our food animals are spread out throughout the state. And you can't ask 4 or 5 veterinarians to work on food animals and become a primary food animal vet and cover 200 or 300 square mile area. It's not going to happen. So I think some of these requests are short-sighted. And the reality is most food animal vets today either do equine also, or they're mixed animal practices and they do small animals and small ruminants, or they do small ruminants and they do it part-time. So, you know, as a delegate from the NJVMA, I don't know who's, I know what the farm community is looking for, but that's really not in line with what the reality is in the marketplace or in the colleges. And I'll answer,
Okay,
I'll
thanks.
answer any questions anybody may have to that.
I'm Dr. Bill Pettit from Burlington County. And I'm one of those guys who went to vet school figuring I was going to work on cows the rest of my life and ran out of cows. They teach you everything. You don't get a choice of whether you want to learn just cows or cats and dogs, whatever. It used to frustrate me because the first 9 weeks would be cats and dogs. 10th week would be equine. The 9th week would be equine, 10th week would be bovine. They say that's not on the final because you just had it. I thought, geez, I had to learn all this stuff for nothing. Today, most of my practice is small animal. I called Dr. Glenn Hofseth last night after we had the meeting here, and he was head of bovine when I was at Ohio State. He's been the dean of 4 veterinary colleges, the only veterinarian I've known that's ever done that. And I think he is the only one. And he set up, I think it's LMU down in Tennessee, one of the newer veterinary colleges. And he suggested a couple things. Number one of the things you can do is try to select students which have an interest in food animal medicine, if that's what you're trying to do. And the way you do that is you try to fast track them through undergrad. So rather than make them go through a full 4 years of undergrad, try to set it up so they get early acceptance because that's going to encourage them to go into that. And then the other thing they do is they set up programs like you talked about where they get a break in their tuition or break in the cost of their education after they get out of school if they practice in food animal medicine for 5 years. The difficult thing you have is that you just don't know where they're going to end up. We just hired a veterinarian back in September that worked for us as a technician, went to Oklahoma State, met her boyfriend there. She practiced with him in Texas for 2 years. We got them both back. One's working for us, the other one's at Willingboro. The only thing is they don't do farm animals. But this is what you're up against. But the big thing is you got to try to get these students that are interested and come through like FFA and those kind of things that have a farm background. If you can get them in and they grew up in New Jersey on a family farm, that all helps. But Dr. Cates is exactly right. It's one of those things you're not going to tell them what to do. You can just try to select the ones you think have the best chance of ending up in that. That's probably how I got in because everybody thought I'd never work on small animals. And now I had to change my ways. And like he said also, it's very difficult to find enough food animal medicine to keep a veterinarian busy all the time. Like you've got to do other things. And one of the most difficult things is having to go out and work at them. If it's a large herd of sheep, that's one thing. But lots of times it's 2 or 3 backyard ones that want a veterinarian at, on Sunday afternoon or something like that. And it's difficult to be able to make that work financially. So that's just my comments.
Can I add something? Sure. I just want to mention also that, I just, once again, just because of the number of places I've been in the world, in this legislature and in this governor's office, I think you have a better chance of getting a program for vet students who practice, not what particular species of animal or what class of animals. You'll have a better chance of getting the bill passed and the fund funded by just saying legislation for vet students who practice medicine in the state for a minimum of 5 years graduation, period. That you have infinitely more chances to get the legislation by saying it that way than you will the other way.
Okay, further discussion.
If there is a consensus from the person who seconded, we would like to remove food animal from line 110 and just leave it as a veterinary medicine loan redemption program and a matching grant program. Remove it from line 112 as well. But I would leave the word livestock just because horses are included in livestock.
So I don't remember who the second was on this one. Was it you, Mitchell? Okay, do you consent to that change? Okay.
Hi, just a comment. Dr. Ernie is a large animal veterinarian who does a lot of food animals. He was just featured Friday evening on New Jersey PBS as an interview because of the shortage of large animal food veterinarians. We had a young woman who's been working with him for, 6 years now, a young lady who went to vet school. She graduated from Tennessee. She has over $400,000 worth of debt. And I mean, we wanted to offer her a position and we couldn't match the price she got from a small animal clinic because doing small animal and ruminants and food grade animals, you're not going to make the money you do in small animal. And she had that large bill to pay off. So we're hoping she will come on board at some point, but right now we can't count on that. So it's just a very tough situation. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I could, I have one question on the amendment. Who proposed it? Is the veterinary medicine loan redemption program for New Jersey residents going to the Rowan School, or is this for any United States veterinary student who comes to the Rowan School? I would encourage that it be for New Jersey residents, as the majority of veterinarians that come to New Jersey come from the New Jersey high school and college population. Not from out of state.
The groups that came together to make this part of the resolution, we want to bring in people. It doesn't matter whether they already live here or if it's them coming to a practice that's established within the state and working here. But there is a shortage of vets. And so anything at this point to bring people in, whether that's working for a clinic or starting their own practice somewhere in the state that has a need for it, this is for anyone, not just residents.
Any further?
I'm sorry to take so much time, but are you talking about anyone who does livestock medicine or a mixed animal practitioner as well? And are we going to define that in this program, or is that something for the future?
So to answer that question, as long as they are practicing livestock medicine in said practice, I believe this would apply to it. It can be a multi-species practice, but our goal is to bring in people who are willing to work on the large animal and livestock.
See, I think you need to understand that if people have these food animals and there's no one to call to service in the central part of the state, and there's very few in the northern part of the state, the South is covered a little bit better. No, you're saying no. Well, that's what we were kind of told, that the South is in better shape than the rest of the state. But if we need somebody who's going to provide program for us to follow, we can't prescribe our own programs or tell somebody else what to do. We're going to be charged with practicing veterinarian medicine, and we're not licensed. The rest of us that are producers are not licensed to do that. So we really need this. This is a need that needs to be filled. And we're between a rock and a hard place here. Who is going to help us with the medical care that's needed for production food animals when we just don't have people? And how do we get them here? What incentive program can somebody else come up with that will get us coverage so that we are not in jeopardy of illegal practices?
Okay, any further discussion? So, it's been a lot of discussion, so let me just reread the proposed amendment one more time so that you know. Be it further resolved that we support legislation for veterinary medicine loan redemption programs, as well as a matching grant program provided through legislation for vet students who practice livestock medicine in this state for a minimum of 5 years after graduation. So, all those in favor of the amendment, please say aye. All those opposed to the amendment, please say no. The amendment is adopted. Back to the full resolution. Melanie?
I want to go back to the humane standards part of this. Almost came two resolutions now. But in the first, therefore be it resolved, and Jeff, instead of adding the line, it's actually going to
You
fit
have a
in
line
here.
number, Melanie?
It was 58. I don't know
It's
what
clear
it's
back
going to
at the
be.
beginning, it's probably
It's
the
the
same.
first, now therefore be it resolved. Okay, yep. So 75. I would like to add strongly urge, not quite to the demand that the other, hopefully we won't be 50 years from now and now demanding that, but I want to change it to strongly urge. The humane standards for livestock is so important. And Rake had talked about a bill with the gestation crates for pigs. In that same bill is about veal animals, and they're specifying 43 square feet. In the humane standards, they just specify what it needs, not the exact inches. So it's very important that the humane standards is what we go by and not what a legislator from northern New Jersey thinks that a little calf should be in. So I want to make sure that our department is fully funded to keep the humane standards as what we need to go by.
Yeah. Okay, can we do that by common consent? Anyone object to inserting the word strongly? All right. So, any more discussion? You never know which ones are going to generate the most discussion. So, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. Okay. The resolution is adopted. We'll now move to resolution number, what is designated resolution number 16, livestock industry in New Jersey. And I will begin reading at line 56. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the delegates to the 107th State Agricultural Convention, assembled in Atlantic City on February 9 and 10, 2022, do hereby strongly urge the New Jersey Department of Agriculture to do the following. Continue to support value-added projects, both on-farm and those that involve processing at off-farm sites, that can offer New Jersey livestock meat-producing farmers significant premiums for their products. Continue to work with all appropriate state and local governments and agencies, as well as the livestock meat industry, to seek funding for on-farm or standalone small processing centers or regional processing plants and/or equipment toward that end, with a focus on reaching the high-end market in New Jersey and surrounding states. Help livestock farmers access all appropriate state and federal government agencies with the goal of maximizing all small business funding program opportunities in order to create value-added livestock meat processing units that will support and grow the diversified livestock industry in New Jersey. Help livestock farmers expand beyond custom retail cuts to include less expensive, alternative, table-ready livestock meat to serve non-premium markets. Work through the department's Division of Marketing and Development to provide enhanced support for establishing a viable Jersey-raised livestock meat protein product brand. Enthusiastically support development of a processing facility that would be owned by a group of livestock producers and facilitate the development of individual branding of custom products and enhance the ability to develop a wholesale market that would establish greater volumes of meat product which can be made available to a wider consumer base. Be it further resolved that the department, along with Rutgers Cooperative Extension and Rutgers University, as the result of two special statewide livestock summits, continue working to identify all possible resources and partnerships that could help livestock producers create livestock harvest and processing facilities of source-verified Jersey fresh livestock meat products, either individually or in tandem with other New Jersey livestock producers. Be it further resolved that we urge the department to closely monitor developments in the drafting of the next federal farm bill as regards the livestock industry, and that it advise educate the New Jersey congressional delegation as to New Jersey livestock farmers' support or opposition of livestock-related issues in the Farm Bill in order to ensure that the Farm Bill best reflects the needs of New Jersey's livestock industry. Be it further resolved that we encourage the opening of a school of veterinary medicine in the state of New Jersey to help with the need for small and large ruminant vets in the state. Be it further resolved that we support legislation for a small and large ruminant veterinary medical loan redemption program, as well as a matching grant program provided through legislation for livestock vet students who practice livestock medicine in the state for a minimum of 5 years. Do I have a motion to move to adopt? I have a motion to adopt and a second. Floor is open for discussion.
Okay, hi, Brittany, Garden State Sheep Breeders. We're going to start with the title again, change the title from Livestock Industry in New Jersey to Livestock Processing.
Okay, let's, do I have a motion to change the title? Do I have a second? I have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. The amendment is adopted.
We would like to strike out lines 47 to 55. Oh, yours is different. Whereas animal agriculture increasingly finds itself misunderstood would be the first line. Whereas animal agriculture increasingly finds itself misunderstood. Right there. Yep, 102 through 104. Yep.
All right, so the motion is to remove the language which says animal agriculture increasingly finds itself misunderstood by a public largely removed from livestock agriculture, and there exists activism of those who either oppose animal agriculture altogether or object to certain science-based practices. And the motion is to strike that language. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
We just inserted it into the previous resolution.
Okay, so the answer is, if you couldn't get that, it was moved to the previous resolution. So any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say no. The amendment is adopted.
And then starting with line 105 to 110 on the screen, those of you looking in the packet, line 50 to line 55.
Do you have it on the one that everybody has on their desk, Brittany?
That's going to be line 50 to 55 on the screen, 105 to 110. And again, that was inserted in the resolution we just completed.
Okay, all right. So the motion is to strike the following language. There is a need for small and ruminant large veterinarians in New Jersey shown through surveys. There is a need for more of these vets to serve operations in New Jersey to improve animal care. And whereas the Rowan University School of Veterinary Medicine, the first such program in New Jersey and the 34th veterinary school in the nation, will open in New Jersey with its first class accepted in 2025. The motion is to strike that language. Do I have a second? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. The amendment is adopted.
I I don't know what lines it's going to be up there, but it's be it further resolved that we encourage the opening of a veterinary medicine school. If all the delegates looking in their packets, it's going to be line 91 to 97.
All right.
Yep, right there.
The last two, be it further resolves in the resolution which you have at your desk, the printed one. I have a motion to strike all of that. Do I have a second? I have a second, and the floor is open for discussion.
Why are we striking this out of the livestock industry resolution and putting it in a humane standards
Because-
resolution? It does not, to me, make any sense to change it from livestock industry to the humane standards. The title doesn't correlate.
The first thing we did was change the title. Our last resolution was Humane Standards and Animal Health. The reason we are doing this and separating out livestock processing is because livestock processing has been an ongoing issue that we felt needed a resolution to itself, and therefore felt that the School of Veterinary Medicine better fit in with a title of Animal Health.
Thank you. Yeah.
But the resolution says humane standards. What's that got to do with the veterinary school?
We changed
No,
the title of
we-
the resolution to Humane Standards and Animal Health.
Okay. Any further discussion on the proposed amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. The amendment is adopted. Back to discussion on the full resolution.
Line 19 in our packets, whereas those alternative approaches include. We want to change area on line 19 to regional.
Can we do that by common consent? Is this line 19, small group or area processing? Change the word area to regional. Any objection to doing that by common consent? So done.
Lines 21 and 22, we'd like to take out and processed so that it reads New Jersey produced livestock meat and meat products.
Okay. Anyone have any objection to doing that by common consent? Seeing none, we'll strike processed.
Line 26, the very end after the word chain. We'd like to insert such as when the farmer controls the packaging. Such as when.
Okay, so we have a proposal to insert the words such as when at line 27. It's actually line 26 on your, up there, following marketing chain. Do we have a second? We have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. The amendment's adopted.
Last one, I promise.
Pardon?
Last one. Line
Don't tell me, you're the one that's going to have trouble getting out of the room.
Line 65 in your packets. On the screen, it'll be the last line of the second bullet point in the now therefore be it resolved. And that second bullet point, we would like to strike in the last line there, reaching the high end market to a broader market.
Okay, yes. Do you have a second? Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. The amendment's adopted. Further discussion on the entire resolution?
Chairman, no further amendments from me. Rick Gardner, Beef Industry Council. I just want to thank the department and on behalf of our beef council we're grateful that this resolution has come forth here. So thank you for the great work.
Thank you. All right. Any further discussion on the full resolution? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. The resolution is adopted. Okay, moving right along here. All right, we're getting close. You know, we still have some more to do, so don't get too antsy. We are going to now move to the resolution being proposed from the floor, cottage food regulations and honey. I need a motion to adopt. I have a motion to adopt. Do I have a second? A second. I'll begin reading at line 10. Be it further resolved that, I'll begin reading at line 6. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the delegates to the 107th State Agricultural Convention gathered in Atlantic City, New Jersey on February 9 and 10 on 2022, do hereby request that the New Jersey Department of Health delete honey from the non-TCS cottage food product list under NJAC 8:24-1.5 definitions. Be it further resolved that we urge the New Jersey legislature to pass and the governor to sign a law stating that honey is a raw food product and not subject to the cottage food regulations. Okay. So we've already moved it into, we've moved it and seconded it. The floor is open for discussion. See,
Any department, no matter where, in other words, won't be neither health nor agriculture. Or it doesn't say that it's agriculture.
just saying, say it's a raw food.
Okay.
Yeah. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. The motion, the resolution is adopted. Now, the last thing that I have on my list, well, let me back up. Are there any other resolutions to be presented from the floor? You know, you remember those game shows where it was, you know, to tell the truth, and the people, when they got the end, it would be sort of up and down. That's sort of what I have this deja vu feeling here. I'm sorry. So, seeing no further resolutions from the floor, we are going to move to the consent calendar. I am aware of two.
I move to remove from the table number 6, right to farm.
Number 6, right to farm.
It's still tabled.
I thought we dealt with that. We dealt with that this morning, I think. Didn't we?
We stopped right before it at lunch. We never moved it from the table.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Ned. All right, so we have a motion to remove right to farm from the table. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. The motion, the resolution is removed from the table. We talked about this at the Resolutions Committee last night and came to some consensus on some language. Where are we starting, Jeff? Okay, to delete and some language beginning at line 54 and inserting language at line 54 and deleting subsequent language, whereas the state board has formed a subcommittee to examine evolving issues in right to farm to include areas in the program that have become controversial in recent years. That's, yeah, then that's the end of that whereas, and deleting the following language. I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Ned.
Point of order, Chairman. We removed that yesterday by vote.
Yesterday, we did this one yesterday, yeah.
The removal. The removal,
Oh, okay.
the removal of the language has already been done.
Right.
This insertion is new.
It's just the insertion. They already removed language.
Okay. So the motion is to insert the following language at line 54, whereas the State Board has formed a subcommittee to examine evolving issues in right to farm, to include areas in the program that have become controversial in recent years. So do I have a motion to adopt that language? Have a motion? Did I see a motion here? Second, and a second? All right. Any discussion? See, oh, okay.
Has that committee been established? Or is it recommended?
It's been formed, right?
Yes, the committee has been established in the last state board meeting, and the committee members will be established by the next meeting.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say no. The amendment is adopted. The next one is at line 85. We already did this one? Okay. All right. So line 94, and this is really what the committee talked about the most. Insert beginning at line 94, be it further resolved that we support the State Board's work to form a subcommittee to examine evolving issues in right to farm, to include areas in the program that have been controversial in recent years, and we strongly urge that subcommittee to reach out to both county boards of agriculture and the CADBs for a broader perspective. Do I have a motion to move that language? I have a motion. Do I have a second? And a second. Any discussion on the proposed language? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say no. The amendment is adopted. You don't have any more there, do you, Jeff? That was the last one. All right, back to the full resolution. Any further discussion on the full resolution? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say no. The resolution is adopted. So now we've completed all of the resolutions in your packet not marked for consent. We've dealt with resolutions from the floor, and we are now ready to move to the consent calendar. We're advised that a couple of items want to come off of the consent calendar, and we discussed them a little bit at the meeting. So I need a motion to remove the resolution from, which resolution from the consent calendar?
Hi, I'd like to make a motion to remove Resolution 25, Agriculture and State Minimum Wage, from the consent calendar.
Okay, do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. Okay, the item is removed from the consent calendar. Let's see, so do we have to read this now, Dan? Or can we ask for a dispensing of the reading? Okay. So I'm going to ask for a vote on dispensing with the reading of the resolution due to the time and the fact that I know it's a very small request. So I have that, I have a motion. Do I have a second? And a second. All those in favor of dispensing with reading of the resolution, please say aye. All those opposed, please say no. Thank you. I don't like to read these any more than you like to listen to them. So go ahead, Melanie.
So my question's on the fifth one about seasonal farm worker job retention incentives. And it specifies there is a newly scheduled increases for seasonal workers, seasonal farm workers.
Yeah. Can you hang on just a second, Melanie? So let me just say, this one is page 92, did you say?
92.
Page 90, page 91.
Yeah.
Page 91, for those of you that want to look in your book. Okay, I'm sorry for the interruption. Go ahead.
So on line 44, I want clarification about the scheduled increases for specified seasonal workers. So I want to see if there is a different table for seasonal farm workers as full-time farm workers. It's something we voted on 2 years ago. It's been bothering me for 2 years, so maybe I misunderstood, and there is a different rate, state rate for seasonal workers, and that's what I want clarification on.
You mean in the minimum wage?
Yes.
There is. Does anybody know? Is there a different wage schedule or a different rate for seasonal workers versus non-seasonal workers? I don't know the answer to that personally.
Somebody that has seasonal workers can.
All right, Pete says there is none.
Okay.
So they're the same.
So I am actually very insulted by this, what happened 2 years ago. I think full-time farm worker job retention incentives should also be included in this. I don't think it's right that just because I have farm workers 365 days of the year, that I shouldn't be included in this incentive. Our workers, I have 6 that work with the cows, 3 that work other things. My people still work 65, 70 hours a week, January, February, December. So I think that we should be included in this imaginary, hopeful incentive pot of money.
Okay. So your motion is to remove the words seasonal at line 42 and at line 44.
Yes.
All right. Do I have a second for that motion? I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. The amendment is adopted. Back to now. We have to do the full resolution. Any discussion on the full resolution? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say no. The resolution is adopted. Once we take them off the consent calendar, we have to adopt the resolution individually. So, okay. Another one to be removed from the consent calendar.
I'd like to move to take resolution number 37, renewable energy and solar arrays on farms, from the consent calendar.
Okay. So we have a motion to remove number 37, renewable energy and solar arrays on farms, found at page 127 in your book, from the consent calendar. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. All right. The resolution is removed from the consent calendar. Again, I will ask for a waiver of the reading. Take a motion to that effect. Okay, I guess it was a motion somewhere. And second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. All right, the waiver is approved.
Thank you.
You're up.
I'd like to add language at the end. The only thing I would like to add to this after amendment or to sign a bill to allow dual-use solar. Okay, so to the recently passed solar legislation, just so it's a little more clear.
Okay, so the proposed amendment, if you can't read it in the back, is tacked on the end of the resolution. Be it further resolved that we urge the legislature to pass and the governor to sign a bill to allow dual-use solar in the Highlands and Pinelands preservation areas.
It's probably going to be more of an amendment than added because the existing legislation specifically prohibits dual-use solar in the Highlands and Pinelands preservation area.
In all areas of the Highlands, all three areas?
What's that?
In all three zones of the Highlands, or what is it, two zones? Two, is it both zones or just that, just this zone?
Yeah, what I'd like to do is urge the legislature to pass an amendment to the existing solar legislation for dual-use solar to allow dual-use solar in the Highlands and Pinelands preservation areas.
Okay, so the language, again, for those of you that can't see, resolved that we urge the legislature to pass and the governor to sign a bill to allow dual-use solar in the Highlands and Pinelands preservation areas and have it be added to the recently passed solar legislation. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. The amendment is adopted. Now, to the full resolution. Is there any discussion on the full resolution? Pat, you? Oh, there's another change. I'm sorry. Okay.
Thank you. Jeff, do you have the information? I texted you information. Want me to read it?
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. We have to get a motion to reconsider. All right. Yes. So, my bad, sorry. And to fix that, I need a motion from someone who voted in favor of the resolution to move to reconsider and state your reason for moving to reconsider.
I propose this word change.
Now, wait a minute, Pat. First, I need you to move to reconsider this resolution. We voted on the resolution, so it's done. I got to reopen it.
All
So
right,
I need a motion to reconsider, and you need to have voted for the prior one. Needed to voted yes, and I need a motion to reconsider, and I need you to state a reason for
I
reconsidering.
would like to make a motion to reconsider opening this amendment, this resolution, so that we can make a further change to clarify Rutgers' role in solar
Thank you.
research.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say no. Thank you. All right, I take the blame for an extra 3 minutes.
All right, we'll make this quick, folks. So we can, in line 87, we can start that we urge NJAES to work expeditiously on the state-funded agrivoltaics research and extension projects being installed at its research farms to better understand the technical and economic dimensions of these technologies, comma, including their compatibility with different crop and livestock systems, and yeah, thank you, Jeff, and strike the remaining part of the that section. Thank you.
Okay, so the proposed amendment is shown in red on the screen, shown at line 87. Urge Rutgers NJS to work expeditiously on the state-funded agrivoltaics research and extension projects being installed at its research farms to better understand the technical and economic dimensions of these technologies, including their compatibility with different crop and livestock systems. Do I have a motion to move that language? And a second? And a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. The amendment is adopted. Did I? Yeah, so this is the next one, right, Jeff? I don't want to get ahead of ourselves again. So we also have proposed language beginning at line 94. Be it further resolved that due to advances in solar equipment technology and construction, that we urge the legislature, the Department of Agriculture, and the SADC to re-examine the potential removal or modification of the plus 10% provisions of the 2009 law that encouraged farmers on preserved farms to incorporate solar, etc. Do I have a motion to move this language? I have a motion and a second. And a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. The amendment is adopted. Back to the full resolution as amended. That was the last one, right, Jeff? Back to the, no. See, I almost did it again. So we have another proposed change at line 114. Be it further resolved that we urge the legislature to pass and the governor to sign a bill. No, this is the one we did, Jeff. Okay, so we're done, right? Okay. So, back to the full resolution as amended. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. The resolution is adopted or readopted. Okay, any other resolutions to come off of the consent calendar? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adopt the consent calendar. Oh. So I have a motion and a second to adopt the consent calendar. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. The consent calendar is adopted. Mr. President and delegates, that completes the resolution process for this convention. But before I turn the chair back over, I just want to thank the Resolutions Committee. They, as you can see, put in a lot of work, not just last night, but since the middle of November, we've been working on these. One trip to the Eco Complex and a lot of emails and phone calls and that sort of thing. And it's a lot of work, and thanks very much to all of you. And I'd also obviously like to thank the staff, Jeff Beach particularly. And Jeff is the face that you see here helping us out, and he does yeoman's work. But Nancy Wood is also in there making this all come together, and Rob Vivian helping us out with the legislative parts of it, and all the section heads and employees in the department. This is a group project, so thanks very much to all of you.
Thank you so much, Chairman Bill Cutts. Okay, Dr. Byer, would you please come to the podium?
Okay, I now call upon Scott Kluges, sorry, the chairman of the nominating committee, to elect 2 members to the State Board of Agriculture for a report of that committee. Here's Scott.
I didn't want to come up here, no. Mr. Vice President, the committee moves the nomination of Bob Blue as a member of the State Board of Agriculture class of 2026, representing the South for the nursery industry. All right, and the next one.
Well, we do them individually. Yes, you did.
Yep, Bob, want to come up? Come on, Bob.
Okay.
I asked the same thing before. They made me come up.
You still have to do you still have to go through.
Is there a second for the nomination?
Oh.
So we got a second.
Okay.
You gotta vote.
Okay.
Yep.
Hold on one second.
Ready?
Hold on. All right, so you have to run. So you have to run through this.
Okay.
And then you're gonna go right to here, and then you gotta go to that.
Okay, sorry about this. Are there any nominations from the floor for this position? Not hearing anything. Okay. Do I get a second for closing the nominations? You got it. So nominations are closed for this position, but we need to have a vote. Okay. Everybody in favor of closing the nominations? Thank you. Okay, anybody opposed? Okay, now let's have a vote. Okay, shall we, we're going to vote for Scott? Or Bob Blue? Okay. Yeah, he's been nominated. So all in favor of appointing Bob Blue as a member of the State Board of Agriculture for the term ending June 30th of 2026, please say aye. Anybody opposed? Please say no. So I take that as a unanimous approval. Okay, Bob Blue is elected by the State Agricultural Convention to be recommended to the governor for the appointment with the advice and consent of the Senate as a member of the State Board of Agriculture for the class of 2026, representing the nursery industry. Congratulations.
We've all been here long enough, so I won't keep you. My name is Bob Blue. I'm part of the 3rd generation nursery owner from Sanderson Nursery in Bridgeton, Cumberland County. I just want to send a quick thanks out to Steve Wagner with NJNLA and Keith McIndoe from Johnson Farms, also right around the corner from me in Bridgeton, for being pivotal in getting me up here on this stage. I want to do right by New Jersey Ag, do right by all of you. If you ever need anything, please reach out, and thank you very much.
Okay. There's. No, we're.
Is elected to, you gotta read to that. Right there. That's me.
Okay, he doesn't have to be up here.
That's you. You gotta read.
No, we need to get all that done. Time out.
There we go. So we got. Right here.
There, I'll do, where's that piece of paper?
Right here, right here, right here. Start right
This
here.
is your paper.
Yeah, we don't have the biographic. Yeah, we just over there.
Right.
Yep, yeah, I got you. Mr. Vice President, the committee moves the nomination of Dave DeFrance as member of the State Board of Agriculture class of 2026, representing the open position for the North.
Okay, is there do I hear a second for this nomination? Okay. Okay, do we have any nominations from the floor? All in favor? Against? Not hearing any. Nominations are closed. Somebody. Okay, so. Okay, so we are now going to be voting for Dave DeFrance to be nominated for the open position of the State Board of Agriculture class of 2026. Okay. All in favor? Against? Nobody that I see or hear, so congratulations, Dave.
Thank you all. I want to thank everybody for the opportunity to come back on the board and get a little continuity and keep it going. And, hopefully I can fulfill what you need to be done. And again, just like Bob Blue said, we're all up here to help you out. So contact all of us, any one of us on this board. Thank you very much.
Mr. Vice President, the committee moves the nominations to Ed Kurtz as the Southern member of the Fish and Game Council for the term that expires in 2026. I don't believe Ed's here. He's not here today.
He's not here. Is there a second for this nomination? Are there any nominations from the floor? So moved. Nominations are closed. All in favor of the nominations of Ed Kurtz as a member of the Fish and Game Council, say yay. Any opposed, say no. Ed Kurtz, welcome him to the Fish and Game Council. Thank you.
There we go.
Secretary Fisher.
First of all, I love it. You all run these big operations. You do all these amazing ventures, but when they give you Robert's rules, it's another world. But thank goodness we've got Dan here. So it's been a great convention. I'm really proud for all of you and all of us just together working as a team and slugging through these resolutions and getting some meaningful direction. That's what the state board needs. And once again, Bill Cutts, thank you for that incredible, each year I think it's just such a great job. And congratulations to all the awardees and just so many, all the awards that we doubled up for 2 years, all the participants, everyone here, it really has been extraordinary. Now, by the way, this thing, you're going to need this when there's no paper bags around. This is the thing that's on your desk. If you open up the little apple, it ends up being a paper bag. I wanted to say, particularly the folks in the department, the board was very smart and I think really came up and said, we're going to do this in person. We want to have this convention in person. And that was the board that persevered when there was obviously some difficulties in terms of pulling this together, but the staff at the Department of Agriculture, as you all know, is amazing. And so I want to call off those that worked on the convention here from the department. And I'm going to start with assistant. I'll read them and then you can do an applause so that we can, I know everyone wants to go home. Assistant Secretary Joe Atchison, Joe Soltowski, our plant director, Dr. Manuel Tomasia at Animal Health, Susan Payne, SADC, Rose Chamberlain, Food Nutrition, Frank Minch, Ag and Natural Resources, and our Chief of Staff, Mary Tovar. So first of all, for that tranche of people, let's give them a round of applause. There really is a lot of behind the scenes work that has to take place. And I know you all know that, but it really, this last couple of years, even more so particularly. Jeff Beach, as was mentioned, his work, and Nikki Stewart, Christine Fries, Tim Ennis, Linda Walker, Jen Robbins, Dan Wonderly, Bob Vivian, Jeff Wolf, Ryan Ryder, Saul Lacunas, and Nancy Wood. If you'd all stand up, please, we'd like to give you a round of applause. By the way, Chief of Staff for Assemblyman Fryman of the Ag Committee, Shelley Bell, is right here. Thank you. You stayed for the entire convention. And that's really something when that committee, and I know the Assemblyman wanted to be here, but I can tell from your reporting and your interest, you're going to take it all back to them. So we really do appreciate your staying here. So lastly, I'll just say that it really has been an amazing amalgam of just everybody here working together, as I said, for the program. We changed it up a little bit this year, and for the board and its steadfastness in terms of having the convention this way. And for all of you, I really, you don't give yourself enough credit. It's not easy to sit through all these resolutions and do the work and change the lines to make sure that we get it right, so we understand the direction of where the agriculture community in all its sectors. It's so unusual. New Jersey has this very unusual structure that stood the test of time, and you're all a reason for that, because you come here every year and participate, you deliberate, we collaborate, and please, please, please give yourselves a round of applause. So with that, I think Dave's going to have a couple closing words, and once again, sincerely, thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Fisher. I do have to read a few things here, Jeff. I would now like to initiate the delegate process for the development of the selection. I'm going to go fast, by the way, so everybody pay attention and take notes. Of 2 members of the State Board of Agriculture, which must be elected at the 2023 State Agriculture Convention. On July 1st, 2023, the State Board of Agriculture seats currently filled by Paul Lubick from the South, representing hay and grain industry, and Debbie Norris from the North, representing vegetable industry, will become vacant. Delegates to the State Agriculture Convention in February of 2023 will be required to elect 2 farmers to fill those vacant seats. The state law requires the membership of the State Board of Agriculture include at all times 1 member representing each of the 4 leading agriculture commodities produced in the state. According to to the adoption of procedures of the convention. The published statistics available at the current convention shall be used to determine the appropriate commodity representation. The 4 leading agriculture commodities to consider by 2023 will be nursery, greenhouse, forest products number 1, number 2, vegetable, including potatoes, number 3, fruit and berries, number 4, hay and grain. I'm coming to my closure. So I just want to thank everyone. I know this was the end of a crisis and things were very difficult. And I just want to thank everybody for stepping up and being a part of this. We got a lot of work done. We have a lot of work to do. And, you know, let's keep moving. Let's keep moving forward, and good luck on your 2022 growing season. And I close the convention.